All right, everybody, welcome back. Totally Driven Radio. Every time I hear that bumper, I crack up. You there, Nick? Would you mute yourself out?
No, I'm here.
Okay. All right, you ready? He's ready.
Yeah,
He's on the line. He's all set. Let's unleash the beast himself. Let's welcome everybody. His big return to Totally Driven Radio. The one, the only, the man known as the Pitbull, ATV Daredevil himself, my friend, Henry Rife. Henry, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I hope I live up to the hype. Jesus Christ.
Come on, man. You know you can live up to the hype.
First of all, I just want to say Bubba still sucks, so there you go.
He just starts right out firing the gun.
That's what you wanted, right?
Hey, I wanted whatever you wanted, so let's get right into it. In case by some reason you're like living under a rock, which most people in this country we know they do, and you didn't see the spectacular, incredible reality show Heirs to the Dare, where Henry was one of the featured stars of the show, alongside Super Joe Reed and Bubba Blackwell. And Henry was the focal point of the show. Have you talked to either of Joe or Bubba since the last few months, I should say?
Well, me and Joe have pretty much had a ceasefire with ourselves.
Nice.
You get Daredevils together and they get in a measuring contest, and that happened with us a few years back. And this show has kind of mended some fences there, and your show actually kind of did that too with me and him. Joe's a good guy. He was a very, very good Daredevil in his day, and if he decides to come back, I say more power to him.
Nice.
As far as Bubba goes, no, nothing. He's made some comments on the internet, and I've made a couple comments on the internet, but anymore I really don't have time to waste on that hick.
Oh.
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
No, look, the big thing with me is, and this went back to the reality show. They told me, hey, we want to see you do this, we want to see you do that, you need to act this way, you need to mind what you say. I said, look, either you want me or you can hunt somebody else. You're going to get me. And that's what I gave them. Anybody that's seen the show, if they see me walking down the street, this is just how I am. I don't believe in being a phony. I don't pander to people. If you like me, great. If you don't like me, that's up to you. But I'm not going to be a fake for anybody. And at least one of my co-stars don't really feel that way, so whatever. If that works for him, I guess more power to him.
So I guess we should ask too. Like, there was there's a big push by, of course, all three of you guys, as well as people like us who were really supportive of the show, to get picked up because that was a test pilot. What was the final outcome of that?
The final outcome was no.
Really?
Can you believe that? I mean, this is from the people that brought you such hits as Tickle. As what? Tickle. You never seen Tickle? Nobody else did either. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Look, I'm grateful to the network, the Discovery Network, for giving us the opportunity. I think there's a lot of people that supported this show, was behind it 1,000%, and I just got the feeling that it wasn't the show's content, wasn't the people in the show. I think everybody liked us pretty good. I got nothing but positive feedback from everybody except people connected with Bubba. And that's the truth. The Discovery people, I think it was like a political, a lot of politics going on in that thing there. I mean, that's the story I got, and that goes on. That's show business. You've been in the wrestling world, you know how that works. So, whatever. I mean, I did my best, and I gave everybody me, and they seemed to be pleased with it, and it didn't pan out. But I've had a couple other production companies hit me up, and I'm kind of doing something else. We'll see if they get moving.
Nice. Yeah, because, I mean, don't get me wrong. All three of you guys have an interesting story, and there was definitely interesting content from the threes. Especially, and I think, I mean, Bubba's was, to me, Bubba was just, nothing against Bubba, nothing personal or whatever, but I think Bubba was just Bubba. He was just there. But, I mean, with Joe, you had the whole thing with him wanting to come back and his whole want to jump the canyon and do that whole big thing. I mean, there's that whole story there. And you have your whole story where you've been doing this for years and, where you weren't getting paid for years. And now you're starting to come around the bend now, and things have changed, and you're getting sponsors now, and now you're actually getting paid to risk your life instead of not get paid.
Well, as far as Bubba goes, I mean, it's a personality issue with me and him. I won't knock the way the guy rides. He's a fantastic rider. He's a really good jumper, and I just. It's hard to sit there and bash somebody over and over and over. But the thing that gives me a red ass is he's just not genuine, and that's got to stop. But he has some very good things going on with him. I mean, he puts on a pretty good show. As far as Joe goes, I agree. It's compelling. I mean, what boxer, what athlete, what race car driver doesn't want to dust off the helmet and get out there and throw one down one more time? And I've said all along, I'm 46 right now, and I'm ancient for being a jumper. But I said that no matter when I retire, if it's tomorrow or 10 years from now, when I'm 60, I'm going to come back and do one more show. So... I mean, if I'm physically able to do it, when I'm 60 years old, I'm going to jump and do one more show just to prove I can do it. But, I think all three of us have completely different takes on the whole Daredevil scene. Joe is he's like part of the original guard. Bubba is, I don't know, he likes to say he's the modern-day Evel Knievel. He's not the modern-day Evel Knievel. He's a modern-day stunt rider, and he's very good at what he does. But he couldn't carry Evel Knievel's jockstrap with a wheelbarrow. It just couldn't happen. If Evel had some of the technology today, he would have jumped a lot further than he did. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, I jumped, Harley just like Evel Knievel did." Evel jumped off a 7-foot-tall ramp. Bubba jumps off a 10 or 11-foot-tall ramp. That's a big difference right there.
Sure.
And when you're saying he jumped 20 cars, okay, Evel did it off a lot smaller ramp. What's that tell you? The angle's a little different. The speed is a lot more because, you got to go faster to hit a smaller ramp and fly that kind of distance. So it's not exactly the same thing. I have an interesting story about Bubba if you want to hear it.
Absolutely.
And it's not, it's nothing bad. It's just, a couple of weeks ago he did a jump here. I live in Ohio, but I'm right on the border of Indiana. And it was like 45 minutes away from where I live, and they were touting the world record jump, and, whatever, he's out there making his money, good for him. the very same day, Doug Danger, who was another motorcycle jumper, who was some of the original guard. He's like Super Joe's age. He come out of retirement and did a jump on an XR 750. He jumped 15 cars, first time ever jumping a Harley, and he did it on Evel Knievel's actual jump bike. Not a replica, the real thing. Now,
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask. I had seen that. I had seen the posting of it the other day, and I wondered if it was a replica or not.
No, it's not a replica. It is the real deal, and it's owned by a fellow that I'm proud to say I'm friends with. His name is Latham, and he owns probably 90% of Evel Knievel's stuff now. He even has the semi, and he's having it all restored, and he's getting all this stuff together for a traveling museum, and he's going to go all around the country and eventually all around the world to show everybody what an Evel Knievel was. And I think that's awesome, but he's got a little different take on it. He's actually letting people use the equipment. This is all museum grade, each one of these motorcycles are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars because they were, Evel's bikes, and he jumped with them. And he's letting different guys get out there and jump the very same bike. That's pretty badass.
As a matter of fact, Doug Danger, he's jumping near Philly tomorrow.
Is he really?
Yeah, Maple Grove Raceway. He's part of a big monster truck show.
It's not a Harley jump, or is it? Do you know?
You know what? I don't know. And he was actually our local Philly news affiliate that I watch every morning. He was going to be on there this morning. When I was leaving for work, they were talking with some of the monster truck drivers, but he was going to be on at like 9:45 a.m. So, and I haven't had a chance to go back and find the clip online to watch it.
Doug's a pretty interesting guy. I know him. He's been around a long time. He's been jumping since the 70s, and he's a fantastic jumper. He's actually probably the first guy to ever jump off of. I call them mega ramps. He's over 11 foot tall, big, huge. Like you see these Red Bull guys doing and jumping 400 feet, and my buddy Jason Bird, he's going to jump 500 feet on a dirt bike, and Doug is really the one that started that. Him and Johnny Airtime got together, and they started coming up with the idea of these great big huge ramps, and back in the early 80s, he was jumping 250, 260 feet, and and this was back, Robbie wasn't jumping near that far. And he started calling Robbie out, and I think things got heated for a while. But that's how that goes. You want something somebody else has got, you gotta be hungry and push it a little bit. And there was a little animosity, but I think everything's all smoothed out now. And I couldn't be happier about it because Doug is. I think he was a year or two ago. He had. People was telling me he had cancer, and he was really sick, and so It's awesome to see that he's recovered and he's back doing what he loves doing.
That's awesome.
You can't keep a good man down.
Oh, hell no. Especially the Daredevils. You guys are nuts. Now, going back to the show, like, after all was said and done, like, did things change for you at all? Like, beside, your normal everyday job, you're a truck driver. Like, when you would go and make your stops, did people, hey, I saw you on TV, did it treat you any differently, or? The normal people that I see every day, they don't treat me any different. But I have been recognized different places. You see people popping their heads up over the aisles and running back and forth, giggling around, and well, I'll ask him, and they come up there, hey, we've seen a TV show on Discovery. Are you that guy that was jumping those for you? Yep, that's me. And they get laughing around, and
you sign autographs and take pictures and stuff, and that was that's pretty fun. The celebrity thing is real cool as long as everybody's real, laid back with it. And my mom's even got hit up a couple times, and I told her it was going to happen, and she was blown away by it.
Like I said last time we talked, I mean, the part with you and your mom arguing over who was better, Elvis or Evel Knievel. Come on, that was just classic.
Well, you know about that, right? She didn't know she was being filmed, right? You know that.
Right.
Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
She was too nervous, and I was afraid. Look, I have the best mom in the world, and she makes Carol Brady look like a old whore. And, she is perfect, and she's always been that way, and it was my mission that, I asked her to do this for me. And she was nervous about it. She's very shy, very, into keeping under the radar, and she said, I'll do it if you want. And, I seen her really stressing about it. So I said, well, just sit down here. We're gonna practice. What do you mean practice? And, the guys were setting up the cameras and that. And I told her, well, this is what we're going to talk about. And we started talking, and she forgot that those cameras were there. And the director's making the roll motion to his camera guys, and we sit there and started talking, and they captured 45 minutes of it. And I slammed my hand down on the table after about 45 minutes and said, you're done. She said, what? I said, you're done. We filmed it. So you guys got to see my authentic mother. That's how she really is every day. And, I'm really blessed to have a mom and dad as good as I do, and, really my whole family.
That's awesome.
They're pretty awesome. My mom is fantastic, and my dad, he's a little bit like Clint Eastwood, but you'll have that. I've had a drill sergeant for a father, so that's probably what made me so lovable.
Now, how about anybody else in like the Daredevil community? Any other your peers reach out to you and say, hey, they enjoyed the show, or?
Yeah, pretty much, everybody. They've made their comments and that, and it's always, with the exception of, like I said, the Bubba crowd, and I think that's at his urging. I could be wrong. They could just feel like they got to have some loyalty to their friend and all that, and, my friends seen it, and they were laughing. They thought he was ridiculous, and, I never told him to feel that way. You can like who you like, man, and this world's big enough to like everybody. But if you rub people that way, what are you going to do? I mean, I can't make you like them.
Right.
And actually, I think it adds a little flavor to the show because we're not all alike. So I don't have a problem with that. I just, if you're going to be an arrogant ass, just be an arrogant ass. Don't be sneaky about it.
Right. Now, how about did you get like a lot more offers for jumps or sponsors after the show?
Yeah, I got the thing you seen about the car lot. That was absolutely real, and I got, and that check he handed me that you seen on TV, in that one check, I made more money in that check than I did in the whole 22 years of me jumping. And Eric is great. He he gave me a truck. He gave me a trailer, and the man gives, and I can't brag anymore on him. And he is totally into this. Every time I see him, he's like a little kid. He jumps up and down. He goes, "We were on Worldwide TV, man. That's awesome." And it's that kind of enthusiasm that makes this fun at 46. With my creaking, aching bones and stuff, I get around people like that. My bones don't creak and I don't ache so much. Makes me want to keep doing it. So,
right.
I got that, and then the book and the shows. I've turned down probably about 15 shows simply because they've overlapped on dates that we already had booked. And I'm able to, ask a lot more money. The big disappointment is I was actually talking about doing Evel Knievel Days this year, and Evel's daughter was really lobbying hard to get me out there, and I think they just had so many people coming already that it didn't really make financial sense to get me out there this year. Obviously I'm in Ohio and they're in Montana, and it takes 3 trailers and, 9 crew people to go out there and do that. It's going to be expensive. And I think I scared them off a little bit, but they swore that if I wanted to, maybe next year I'd be able to give it a shot. So I would love to perform there. That whole bunch is a great bunch of people, and, that's like on my bucket list.
Yeah, every year I say to myself, I would love to go out there for that, but for one, I don't think it will be, and maybe you would know even better, if it's I don't think it's like a kid atmosphere, is it?
It's not like a biker rally, where chicks are, showing the boobs and all that. I think there might be places where that goes on, but it's not in the streets. And I actually think it is pretty aimed towards a family, at least until it gets later on.
Right.
Everybody loves a good time. Certainly there's going to be some partying going on. I mean, it's Evel Knievel Days. It's not Bible school, so there's
right.
fights and there's some beer going on, and that's what makes it fun. But I think we can accommodate everybody doing stuff like that. And
sure.
Those people are cool, and this year is the first year there's been kind of a regime change there, and I'm interested to see how much has changed, because Alicia's got some big plans going on there, and I'm anxious to see it happen. I personally would like to see, like, every year have a Daredevil Hall of Fame dinner there or something, and get some of the old Daredevils there, and sort of make a big deal about it, because we, after we retire, that's it. You don't hear from us no more.
Yeah, no, the guys, some respect deserves to be shown to you guys.
Well, I mean, I'm a performer. I love doing it, and let's not kid each other. It's a good ego stroke, but this is a hell of a lot of fun, or I wouldn't still be doing it. And I like to compete, and I like to see all the nice people out there. I tell you what, people I've never met in my life will walk up and say the nicest things and just, be completely cordial, and it blows my mind. I'm in shock that, people I've never met before treat me better, in some cases, people I've known my whole life. So that's kind of the thrilling side of it. With the show, I've had some of the other sides. You get hometown people, no, it isn't nothing, and, I can do this and that. You know what? I've trained a lot of jumpers, and there's a lot of them around here, and there's a lot of grumbling around, and, as far as I'm concerned, it's not illegal to go out there and jump a four-wheeler, so what the hell are you waiting on?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I mean, you talk about it, but talk's cheap. Get your ass out there and do it. I mean, some of these guys that, they ramble on and, he ain't shit, I can jump farther than him. These guys can't jump farther than me. You know why? Because I won't let them. I can, the right setup, I can jump 220 feet. Now, am I going to do it for free? No.
What's the official farthest you have jumped?
The official furthest I have jumped. I'm a reigning world record holder right now for the most cars jumped indoors, which is 10. I am the reigning world record holder for the longest ATV jump without a landing ramp. That's just a flat ground, and that is, I believe, 146 feet 7 inches, something like that. And that was in the 90s. You know, look, I'm not going to try and beat that record. That sucked. it beat the crap out of me, man. I mean, that hurt.
I'm sure.
There's other guys that jump without landing ramps, and, you know, hey, whatever. I mean, if they want to do that, that's fine, but it's just not my cup of tea. I did that. I had a landing ramp there. I had a headwind all day, and the last jump of the day, the wind died, and I overshot the whole thing, and I hit the flat ground. So that's how that happened, but I've done that. Ramp to ramp jump right now, and this is, you know, there's parameters here. If you look online, there's guys that's jumped like 178 feet, but they've jumped it off of a 12-foot high ramp onto like a 20-foot wide, 200-foot long, great big, huge dirt landing ramp. Well, I've jumped 163 feet off a 6-foot high ramp onto a 4.5-foot high, 8-foot wide, 40-foot long landing ramp. That's a big difference.
Wow.
Yeah. I was saying more than wow as I was flying through the air, but you know, you give me a big, huge takeoff ramp, give me a huge landing ramp, something where I can pin it and don't have to worry about missing the ramp and breaking my back or tearing my four-wheeler up or something. No, man, I know I can jump 200 feet, no sweat.
Now,
but I'm not going to do it for free. According to Bubba, that's worth $200,000.
Yeah, right.
$1,000 a foot, right?
Now, was it just recently from the test jumps you did where you had, I guess, like a go cam on your helmet or something?
Yeah.
That's all you'd put up? Now, that was pretty cool. I mean, people, it gave you like that roller coaster ride experience. Like you see firsthand what Henry's seeing as he's going up the ramp and up and over and down. A really cool experience.
Well, there's people that have watched that in person that's seen the video first, and then they come watch it in person and they shake their head and they say, you know what, in person this looks completely different. I had no idea this was that far. And, you know, it's interesting. You get that kind of perspective, you know, on a screen. It doesn't do it justice.
Right.
It looks kind of far, you know, but if you're standing on top of the ramp looking across that gap, it's way further in person. And, you know, I'm trying to film everything I do just so people get the full experience of it, you know, as close as I can get them, because most people aren't going to do this. And, you know, like the Discovery show, they were blown away with all the footage that I had. I've been doing this for years, collecting and keeping all my footage, and I gave them a 500 gig hard drive that was probably 80% full of video and pictures. I got 400,000 pictures, still pictures, and tons of video. But that's what you need to do. You know, anybody that's interested in doing any kind of entertainment, especially something like this, you know, where you got to seek out sponsors and that, you need to have a archive full of what you've done. You know, you need to be able to back up what you say, and it's good. It helps you get sponsors, and you know, like even TV people. It gets TV people interested. So you know, that's what I do. I mean, even the practices, I film everything.
Yeah, especially also too in the world of social media now and YouTube and stuff like that. You have to document everything. Yeah.
Well, you know, I was supposed to do jump a couple of weeks ago. I mean, this damn jump, I'm going to do it. I'm jumping tomorrow in my hometown of Ohio City. It's a thing I do every year for the last 7 years, and this is actually the thing that got me on the Late Show with David Letterman. But the week after, next weekend, I am going to go back to Angola, Indiana, and try and get this thing done. This is my third time trying to do it. The sort of Midwest weather has been raining like crazy whenever it's time for me to jump. So I've never been rained out 2 times in a row, and it's happened. So I'm going to go back to 26th, and we're going to do it. But we were, yeah, you hear Tom in the background making noise. He, we were in Angola, and we were getting ready to do this thing, and the rain clouds come, and I thought, you know what, I haven't even jumped this year. I'm going to get some practice jumps in. So we filmed it, and the track people were kind of not really, I don't know how to say this, as enthusiastic as I thought they should be, you know, because they didn't even know what they were dealing with. They never really seen me jump in person. The one guy did, and so some of the track people come out there to watch me practice, and I told them, I said, take your truck down there in between the ramps and get your iPhone out, and I'll jump you. What? Yeah. So I went up there, and they got their truck in the middle, and I jumped them. And now, just that stupid little jump, I come back, you know, these guys, there was a truck full of grinning guys, and they were, you know, thrilled about that, and they got a pretty cool little video. And now they can't wait to see me do the show. They said, man, that was the coolest goddamn thing I ever seen. But that, you know, that's how you do it. Now, you know, the last couple of weeks, that's all they've been talking about, telling people to come watch this. But that's how you sell yourself. You got to be inventive, man.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, something I was thinking about, too, was, you know, the whole world of Daredevil jumping, you know, like you do, that the whole vein of Evel Knievel. Do you almost feel like, I was almost thinking like relating it to the world of wrestling where, you know, back when I was getting into the wrestling business in the early 90s, it had become like very cartoony and watered down, and it needed to go somewhere to revive the business. And do you think Daredevil jumping needs that as well? I mean, we know they've had the X Games style jumping for years, but I'm not talking that style jumping. I'm talking good old-fashioned jumping like you guys do, where, you know, ramp to ramp over cars or trucks or people or whatever you're going to jump. Do you think there has to be some extreme type of jump relating this now to where, you know, Big Ed and Super Joe want to jump a canyon? Do you think it has to go to that level to give your business a kick in the ass and a shot in the arm to boost it again?
Short answer, yes and no. Could I be any clearer? You know what? I think the big thing about Daredevil jumping, and you're right, it is very similar to wrestling. The big thing about Daredevil performing, no matter what they're doing, walking tightrope, jumping a motorcycle, being shot out of a cannon, is what do you think it is, Bay? Is it the actual act of doing it? I mean, how many wrestlers did you know that could jump off the top rope and do a splash and pin somebody? Was it what they were doing, or is it the personality?
Yeah,
it's the personality that sells it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's how well you sell it. You know, you have to have an engaging personality, and that is one thing that I have to criticize these X Game people for, because they're very sterile about it. Oh yeah, I got my Monster Energy hat on, and what's up, dude? And you know, I mean, they're great athletes, super riders, but you know, the personality just really isn't there. And if the people don't care about who's on the motorcycle or on the snowmobile or in the cannon or whatever, then it doesn't make the event worth watching.
Right.
Now, the flip side to that is, yeah, every now and then you have to have some wild, crazy thing like jumping a canyon. And, you know, apparently that's going to be done a couple times this year. And I think that's great, and I wish my buddy Ed Beckley all the luck in the world, and Scott Truax is building a different kind of rocket. and I know him. And look, I think that's awesome. Does every event got to be so over the top? No. I think people are just as entertained, and this blew my mind, actually. You go through and do a bunch of shows, and, as you're starting, you think, okay, I jumped 5, now I got to jump 6, and now I got to jump 7. No, you don't have to do that. What you need to do is come up with a show that's entertaining,
right,
that you can draw the people and get them involved in, and you also got to do a stunt that's worthy of people watching. Usually, I have just a standard show, which, depending on the venue, but it's right around 10 cars. If it's a lot bigger venue, then we can go bigger than that. But, 10 cars, I can do 10 cars from stop to stop in about 300 feet.
Right.
Now, that, that's a football field. And a lot of times that stuff ends up on a football field and that, or inside a arena, And so it really doesn't matter how far you jump, because every jump can't be a world record jump.
Right.
You need to be skilled and know what you're doing. And if, you want to walk around and say, oh, I have the world record for the most pink Cadillacs jumped with Elvis impersonators in there, then more power to you. But you can't do that every week. Otherwise, you're going to have a damn short career. And
right.
So you got to have something you can sell, and you got to have a show that you can take out every weekend or as often as you want. I don't go out every weekend. I can't do that. I pick and choose my shots, and if it sounds interesting to me, I'll go and do it. Sometimes like I got involved last year with awesome little boy. His name is Luke, and he is really a big inspiration to me. I think he's 7 years old now. He's been paralyzed 4 times. He's had a cyst grow in his spinal cord, and every time it fills up with fluid, it paralyzes him.
Oh, wow.
And I decided that and his mom and dad are both Army vets, and they really don't have a lot of money and huge medical bills. And I decided, nobody asked me, I decided to offer to raise some money for him. And I went all last year, and I did my best, and we bought him a therapeutic bike and a wheelchair. And, this little kid is awesome. And, you use these events to help people out, to bring awareness to stuff. I've said all along I want to get a group of women together, like 200 women, really hot chicks in bikini tops, and jump them all for, like breast cancer awareness or something like that. It's kooky, but yet you get the point across, and you can do some good. So, that's a Daredevil thing. You have a little bit of crazy, but, it's got to be fun. It's got to be interesting.
We need 200 Hooter girls.
Your question?
200 Hooter
girls will work. That'll work. Hook it up. I'm in.
Hook it up. Too funny. Now,
dude,
talking about
tell me that is not a guaranteed attraction. You're going to get 100 girls together. That's 200 boobs. How many guys is that going to draw?
A lot. Probably 1,000. At least 1,000.
Exactly.
Too funny.
So, that's just some of the stuff, that I'm always thinking. I drive in that truck all day, and I think and, come up with different stuff I want to jump and want to do, and, artwork and all that. That's where I create all that stuff in the semi while I'm working.
You need to get Tom on this stuff. Come on, Tom. Start taking notes and start blowing up people's phones.
Well, I'm trying. Tom, you know what? Tom has hit the ground running. Tom is my social media guy, and he had no idea what to expect with all this, and I think he's into it now. He's seen me a couple times and before he got involved, and he does a bang-up job. I mean, he does stuff that I wouldn't even think to do. We think along the same lines. And, you know, my mechanic, Russ, he's a really bright guy. He comes up with good ideas. And, you know, I'm willing to talk to and listen to and have somebody suggest stuff all day long. You know, I mean, there's no such thing as a bad suggestion. I mean, you might not use it, but you might as well listen to it. You know, I'm not so wrapped up into myself that I can't have a suggestion from somebody. I know some people who are like that, but it's not me. I'm not going to name names, Bubba, but it's, you know, you have that.
Now, how about, you know, these, you know, like we said earlier, you know, Big Ed wants to do this canyon jump. Super Joe wants to do a canyon jump. I think even Robbie Knievel wants to do a canyon jump. If somebody came to you with a, you know, the big pot of gold at the end of the rainbow on the other side of the canyon, would you even think or consider something like that?
Yeah, I said a long time ago that to sit there and go 2 years and hike this thing and, you know, think about it over and over and over and, you know, let that roll around in my brain for a couple of years, no, I wouldn't do it. But if I showed up there and they had a rocket and they had a check for a couple $1 million, yeah, I'd get in it and do it. I just wouldn't want to keep thinking, you know, I wouldn't want to think about it for a couple of years. I just, yeah, you know, that's how I am right now with the jumps. I get out riding with my friends or something. They'll do this big, huge, gnarly jump, and everybody's looking at it and scared about it. And they think, man, would you jump that? And I'll just sit there and look at it a minute or two and you know, go right away and hit it. Yeah. I don't want to think about it. I just do it.
You know,
I'll go to the hospital later.
And I'm sure I can speak for millions of guys around the world, you know, like yourself, growing up, you know, in the Evel Knievel era. You know, that's what I wanted to do growing up. I wanted to be the motorcycle Daredevil. I wanted to be Evel Knievel. And I'd be out in my back alley setting up ramps and, you know, stacking stuff up and jumping them, or even idiot kids in the neighborhood would lay on the ground and let us jump them like fools. But
absolutely,
you know, when it would come down to a motorcycle, it was a whole new world now. Now you're talking like, all right, I can really get hurt here, you know, and common sense won over for me on that one, and I never, you know, went that route. But so guys like you that do it, I mean, you know, the admiration for you guys is huge. I mean,
I can tell you the first time it really dawned on me that my life was really on the line is I hit a jump going over a house trailer in 1995. It was a huge jump. It was right around 130 feet just to make it across. And it was a bad setup. I really, you know, I was early on in my career, and I really didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I shouldn't have tried it. But, you know, my ego kept telling me, you can do it, you can do it. And I listened, and that asshole got me in trouble. I hit the ramp, and I'm flying through the air, and I remember the thought going through my brain, you're getting ready to die. You know, and it wasn't, oh, I might get hurt. No, I literally thought I was watching my own death unfold right in front of my eyes, and the next thing I know, I'm being woke up by my ex-wife, and, you know, dude, I want to tell you, that was the most pain I ever felt in my life. It hurt so bad I could not cry. Everything. You ever hit your hand or your finger with like a hammer or something, and it just is just overwhelmed by the nerves going crazy, and it just kind of feels like numb. My whole body felt like that. And I had such a bad concussion, I got up and walked away, and I had 2 broken legs. I had a broken collarbone and a broken wrist. And I got up and walked away. I loaded my four-wheeler up by myself. That hurt. I didn't know what I was doing. The racetrack was telling people that, oh yeah, he's at the hospital, and we're going to be in touch with him. And I had one of those old bag cell phones, and the thing rang, and I picked it up, and how's everything at the hospital, Henry? And everything's fine. I didn't go to the hospital. I had such a bad concussion. I went to Chi-Chi's. I was eating a damn burrito. That's true. Yeah, man. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Yeah. So,
wow.
After that, I retired for a little while after that. And, I just thought, man, I just can't do this to my family anymore.
Yeah.
And, the ego and whatever this Daredevil gene is, it just kept on until I had to come out of retirement and jump again. And obviously it was the right call because, man, it's really changed my life around. And I just love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, you got 3 jumps coming up. One tomorrow night, like you said, and at the Lambert Days in Ohio City. And is that's the drive-in, right?
No, that's the drive-in is the Vandal. That's the other side of the county.
Okay.
Yeah, those. You know what? I didn't jump there this year. I don't really know what's going on there. They're having some changing going on. I'm really not at liberty to talk about it, but sooner or later I'll be back there, I hope. I mean, we draw huge crowds there. I mean, they were lined up 4.5 miles to come watch the show. And, that's been doing it for 20 years, and this is the first year in a long time I haven't been able to do it, so I was kind of bummed out.
Wow.
Tomorrow is Lambert Days, and then the weekend after Lambert Days, which will be the 26th.
Yep.
We'll be in Angola Motor Speedway, Angola, Indiana. And then August 15th will be back at the car dealership that was on the TV show, Lee Kinsel's. That will be a cool deal. And we tried to get you there, and no, you didn't come.
I know.
What the hell?
I suck. I know.
Dude, I'm telling you, he was prepared to roll out the red carpet for you. But whatever. You don't want to be a part of that, that's fine. No, it's going to be a cool deal. It's called Bow Ties and Bikes. They're going to have a car show there, bike show there, some bands, hog roast that's free for everybody. I mean, they don't charge anybody nothing. And then the main event of the evening will be me doing my thing over a bunch of bikes. I'm going to jump a bunch of Harleys. And there's a lot this year to make it a little different. And then, September 13th.
Oh, cool.
Tech Fest. September 13th in Pandora, Ohio. There'll be a thing called Ted Fest. I've never heard of it, but apparently in that part of Ohio, it's a pretty famous deal. And the guy he's kind of quirky and kooky, so he fits in real good with me. And, he's all jacked up for this. So I'm going to jump
Fest.
there.
So it's either Ted from the movie or Ted Nugent. Yeah,
it's the guy that owns I guess he owns a bunch of land, and he has a big market or something there, and the guy's name is Ted. So he's got a sense of humor. He called it Ted Fest.
Look at that. Good for him. Good for Ted.
I would.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, well, Eric at the dealership, he was wanting to what was he wanting to cut? My name is Henry, but anybody that knows me has known me my whole life. My real name is Hen, just little nickname, and everybody that has known me for a long time, that's what they call me. I'm Hen, and Eric wanted to call this year Hen Fest. I said, no, don't do that. I said, bow ties and black is better.
Henfest. And how about if anybody wants to get hold of you, get in touch with you, fans, promoters, whoever, maybe to book you or something?
Absolutely love talking to people that are interested in this. I got a Facebook, YouTube. I got a fan page on Facebook, which is, as Tom hands me all the info. Let's see. The Facebook is facebook.com Henry Rife Stunts. That's the fan page. Or you can just type in my name, Henry Rife, and you can probably track me down that way. YouTube, it's ATV Pitbull. That's all you need to type that in there. I believe the David Letterman thing's on there, and me busting my ass in the Coliseum a couple years ago, that's on there. And
right.
There's quite a few videos on there, so that's pretty good watching. And then you can get on iTunes and get Heirs to the Dare. You can buy that on iTunes.
$2.99. That's what I did.
$2.99. What a bargain. I don't know if it'd do any good, but hey, tell Discovery or History or something that you want to see me on TV some more. I want to do more TV before I retire, but I don't know. I don't know if I can make it without the prima donna there.
Oh, please. And don't forget Twitter, @Henry Rife.
Absolutely. And you know what? Before we get off here, I want to tell you something. I did not know. I am a huge fan of ECW.
Absolutely. You have to be.
Well, you were part of ECW, right?
Yeah, I was a fan of it.
You were with Dudley, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Here's a little ECW history for you. Before ECW became Extreme, it was Eastern Championship Wrestling, and I was doing a motorcycle, a biker gimmick in the early days of ECW. I was known as one of the Hell Riders. I was Easy Rider. And the very first match in ECW television history was me, the Hell Riders versus the Super Destroyers.
That's awesome.
And then I came back a year and a half later as a Dudley.
I have a little bit of wrestling trivia for you. I probably know somebody you know.
Uh-oh.
Al Snow.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Al Severn, yeah. I don't know him super well. I had a buddy that was a pro wrestler. He just he passed away this past year. But he got trained by Al Snow, and I went out there, and while he was training, and I met him and some of the other guys, and yeah, you guys can have that wrestling shit. That looks like it's way too much abuse on your body.
That's why I don't even contemplate it anymore.
Yeah, everybody says that's fake. There's nothing fake about that.
No, not at all. Not at all. The only thing that's fake is the ending of the match. Otherwise, everything that's going on in the ring and all that stuff is completely real.
I have a completely cool idea for a TV show. You know, HBO or some of these make these cool shows like True Blood. They need to get something on there that documents the true stories of pro wrestlers, the behind the scenes crazy shit. And dude, I would be just in love with that. You guys are nuts, man. You guys are every bit as crazy as I am.
I'll tell you what, in the ECW days especially, if they had cameras rolling, I mean, even after the shows, especially when we would do the ECW arena shows, but by the time the show would get done, it would be like midnight or whatever, and then everybody have to go back to the hotel, and that's where we used to film all the promos, and you had to wait your turn. So sometimes you'd be there till 6, 7 in the morning waiting for your turn to do promos. Well, while you're waiting to do your promo, everybody's just partying. And, you know, if the walls of that hotel could talk, let me tell you something. We'd all be in jail.
No, I had an idea a long time ago. I'd like to jump. You know, they have like a bunch of wrestlers going at it at the same time. I'd like to jump a wrestling ring while you guys are wrestling.
See, that would be something cool. You know who we need to get. I have to get hold. I haven't seen him in a while, and I usually run into him a lot at Hooters, but he's been spending a lot of time over in Europe, and that's Bam Margera, because he don't live too far from me.
Yeah.
We need to hook Bam Margera up, right? Because he would be perfect for this. Get Bam to get hooked up with you, and he would have a wrestling shows or whatever goofy stuff, skateboarding or whatever going on, and you jump them.
Absolutely. I'm in.
And we got to get the Count, too. We got to get him hooked up with you.
Well, you know what? I haven't heard a thing, man. I would love to go out there and jump a bunch of his cars. And you guys would love to watch it, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just heard from his people yesterday, so I'm going to have to put the bug back in their ear.
I said, look it up, man. I'm in. We go to Hooters together in Las Vegas.
See that? And then we'll top everything off with Hooters, and we'll all be fine. We'll be winning
and we'll
together.
do the Hooters titty jump, and it'll all be good.
He's destined to do that titty jump.
Oh, dude, I look, it's lighthearted, but, you know, hey, you can have some humor and get your point across and you know, put on a good show for everybody. I don't really see what the big deal is.
No, you're jumping the biggest humps in the world. Just bill it as that.
Absolutely.
1 hump or 2.
That's right. I'm a 2-humper myself.
Henry, you are the man. Thanks for coming back on.
Hey, my pleasure. Anytime. You know, if I got something new cooking, I'll come back anytime you want, man. You guys are a lot of fun.
And at some point, I will make it out there.
Well, you better hurry up. I'm not getting any younger.
I heard that. Neither of us are. That's a bad weekend, man. That's my anniversary weekend. That was just bad.
Always. You mean to tell me for your wife's anniversary of marrying you, you wouldn't want to bring her out to see just miles and miles and miles and miles of cornfields?
You know what? I might have got away with it if I didn't take her 2 years ago on our anniversary weekend to Hickville, Virginia, Luray, Virginia, for Dukes of Hazzard Festival.
Oh, yeah, I know some of those guys. The Corey Eubanks, he's one of the original stunt guys from the original show. And, Tom Ceramento, is that his name? Something like that. Yeah, I did a radio show with them. Yeah, they're cool guys.
I'll tell you what, they had set up in the middle of a field, in the middle of the sticks, this Dukes of Hazzard Festival. And there was probably 10,000 people there, easy, if not more, all over the place. It was unbelievable. And hundreds of General Lees. I mean, it was incredible, but it was just a very overwhelming experience as well.
Yeah, well, I would imagine I'd get all those rednecks together. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we were literally in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of the sticks. We were right by Jellystone Park, Yogi Bear's park. My wife was like, really? Our wedding anniversary, and this is where you take me? Yeah. I've yet to live that down.
Romance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The height of romance. Yeah. You look at the hotel, and put it this way, the most happening spot in the town that we were able to go to for entertainment was freaking Walmart.
Wow.
That was the highlight.
I'm scared for your sex life that weekend, buddy.
Yeah, so I've been trying to redeem myself for the last few years. So.
I suppose I understand then. You know, Van a nice place. That's where I live. It's a nice town, but there's not a whole lot going on here. I mean, I'm not too far from Fort Wayne or Toledo or anything, but you're not going to get any extra points from your wife if you bring her here for your anniversary weekend. So yeah, you better stay the hell away.
See that? So at some point I will make it there. I'll drag the family out there. We'll come out, hang out. We'll go to Hooters and we'll watch you jump.
Absolutely, and maybe you get busy enough, we'll jump at Hooters.
Nice.
I'll jump anywhere and everywhere. I don't give a damn.
Oh, I know that. I know. It's just a matter of the right marketing thing that we can get for you.
Well, don't forget that $1,000 a foot.
That definitely helps too.
He said that, and I was completely unaware that was the prices he was asking because I watched him jump those 2 helicopters, and I was completely unaware that was only 18 feet. But, hey, he said it. It's got to be true.
Yeah, right? Too funny. Too funny. All right, well, I'm going to let you go, Henry. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to call it a night.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And, I'll be in touch. Now I can talk to you again on Facebook. I've been staying away from you because I don't want to discuss nothing until tonight.
All right. Well, I'll look forward to hearing from you, man. I will see you later.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
You got it. All right, everybody, there he goes. The man, the myth, the Pitbull, Henry Rife. He's a hell of a guy.